So yesterday we ended up working on getting this back door in, and as you can tell, it's not finished. We had so much trouble hanging this back door, so it's not even done, and we're gonna have to work on it like this coming week because Saturday was a really nice day and it was in the 50s, so that's whenever we started hanging it. But today it is pouring the rain, so on the other side, like on the outside, we have a sheet of metal screwed up just because we didn't know what else to do. We had to like keep the rain from getting in, so we just screwed up a piece of metal, and it'll eventually come down, of course. Somebody had altered this door a little bit, like it wasn't square, so we had to trim off the littlest bit on both sides just to make it like perfectly straight. Yesterday while they were working on the door, I went to the antique store and got this piece right here, and then I also got a table that will go right here underneath this light fixture for the island. But we really changed our mind because eventually, like in the beginning, we had a hutch bottom that looked exactly like this, but it was a little bit bigger. It went to a Hoosier cabinet. But we bought the bottom of it for really cheap at a yard sale, and it never had the top with it, and that was originally going to be our island. But after we got to thinking about it and stuff, we wanted the space to feel a little bit more open, so we didn't want the bottom closed off. We wanted a table, and also we don't know how long it'll be before we get our dining room done. So we're going to like put a couple chairs around the table so that like probably on this back side and just scoot them in. That way I can still like easily work with the table and stuff, and the chairs aren't in my way. But we want to be able to eat in here in the kitchen for now until we get the dining room done. So I painted this little test area just to see what it would look like because the table right here has an enamel top also. But either way, this cabinet has got to be redone. All the paint is flaky. We ended up deciding that we're going to hang this over top of this. So the piece will be back together. We took down the sconce and it's going to go right here next to this door, the same height that this one is. That way it looks like each doorway that you pass through will have a sconce kind of thing. And this is one of the boards that they had previously replaced, so I'm going to touch that up with paint, and then this will eventually get redone to match this color. But I'm going to work on cleaning this up really good, and then I'm going to paint the back wall because it's not even painted. And we're going to try and get it put in hopefully tonight, but if not, then maybe tomorrow. But we just wanted this look because the floating shelf just kind of looked awkward. One, because it's modern, it's not really old. And that way some of the wall space is getting used, because otherwise like we have nothing planned for the walls in here. Besides, we just had that one shelf planned and it just kind of looked awkward. Like I didn't really love it. So last night we finally finished the door and the trim. Right now I'm working on priming it. This block here, it won't be here forever. We just have to get an exterior lock, and it's coming in the mail. We just haven't got it yet. So instead of the floating shelf, we now have this cabinet here, and it's got the glass doors, of course. And it is a mess in here. I'm going to start cleaning soon. But we got the glass doors and then now the cabinet. And I kept the peg rail. I put the peg rail underneath so I could still like use this space to hang stuff. And we absolutely love it. It was a beast to hang up there. Me and Ben did it by ourselves and we finally got it. But it's up there and it's secured and she's not going anywhere. But the good news is that it's literally just screwed up there. And if we ever decide to change this out or take it down, because we wanted this piece to be back together, and that's what they had. Like they had cabinets. Of course, this isn't like the shaker style or anything like that. This is just a super old cabinet that, I don't know why the lighting's doing that, but this is just a super old cabinet that came out of a hardware store. We believe it was a hardware store here in our town, and now we're going to use it in our kitchen. We don't know how old it is. All we know is that whenever we were taking it apart and making some repairs, we did find that it was built with square nails. So it is really old. We just don't know how old. We can't find any maker marks or tags or anything on it. My camera was on the wrong setting on the last clip, so hopefully this is better. But this cabinet does get scooted this way just a little bit. We love it because it feels like this whole wall is getting used instead of just like the one shelf. And of course we will have to get a stool in here, but neither one of us loved the corner shelf. Like we liked it, but we didn't love it. I did paint this cabinet to match that, and we kind of like left, I don't even know if you can tell at the bottom, but it does have like kind of scuff marks and stuff. And we did that just to like, so that all the countertops would match. It kind of looked weird with this one over here just white on its own. We didn't really like it. And I still need to put the hardware back on it. But as you can see, it covers the stud just a little bit, but it doesn't cover the brick. It just goes right to the edge of the stud, which we're still fine with, but it's really coming along. And after I get done painting, I am going to clean today, ready for like to bring stuff in here, because as soon as I get this painted, I'm going to clean really good and start bringing things in, because all we're waiting on is the fridge, and we need to still paint and do the exterior of that. We've just been working on this, So we haven't had time to work on the fridge. We've just been trying to get this back door in. I still have a lot to do, and I still have not decided if I'm going to like stain these legs or just leave them as is, or sand them down and repaint them white. I haven't decided yet. But that can always be like a later thing. It doesn't have to be like right now. But we're hoping that by early next week we can have the fridge in here. We're still working on a couple things on it. We're just working on it a little bit in the evenings, and usually actually Ben has been working on it while I've been in here working on the kitchen, like cleaning and scrubbing things. I just now got done filming the kitchen haul, which that will probably go up before this video. And we are on the lookout for a nice like vintage step stool. And honestly, I want this to be able to scoot down, which it does. It scoots down just a little bit more because it is a little bit longer than this. So it'll come to probably about like right here or so. And also the chair rail kind of stops it from going down all the way. But I want to be able to slide like a step stool in right here and then just pull it out whenever I need it, because I'm not always going to need what's on the second, on that very top shelf. And that's the only one I can't reach. I can still reach the second one and that one. And started putting these groceries away. I just kind of threw it all in here. This is not where it's going to go permanently. Like all of our seasonings and stuff, I take those out, and I have like small mason jars that I put them in. Like I want to say they're like half pint mason jars. I have a whole bunch of them that I got. And then the seasonings that we use a lot, I'll keep those in quart mason jars. So all of that will eventually come out of here. And then like the same with the flour and stuff. We don't even typically buy that kind of flour and sugar and stuff. We just picked it up, and this evening we're actually going to go to the Amish bulk store. So that's typically where we get all of our flour, sugar, and stuff like that. And then like we don't usually buy croutons. Usually I make those, but Ben loves croutons, so we pick those up until I have time to make some. And then we do love these pasta sides. And I bought these storage baskets. They're just like super small, but it holds them perfectly. So it's coming along, but we definitely need to get some more groceries before I can organize this and figure out where everything's gonna go. But I need to go dig through the addition and see if I can find some more of my canisters and like all of my spice jars and stuff, because that's gonna be the hardest thing, is just going through the addition and finding everything and then washing it and waiting on it to dry. And then
dug out all these seasonings out of the addition. Luckily, they were all in one box. I think I do have another box in there with some in it, but just miscellaneous ones. But I can see that some of them like drawed moisture, so obviously they're not good anymore. And I am going to give them to our chickens. I Googled it, and as long as it's not like heavy salt, so like not garlic salt or anything like that, then I will give it to our chickens.